here I am at the Tokyo Dome in Japan, getting ready to do my first ever live performances. So I'd love you to join me. I'm going to be at Osaka, Nagoya, and here at Tokyo Dome, which holds 40,000 people. I'll also be going to England. I'll show you some footage of Delinquents. You can see me messing around, rehearsing, trying to perform, all sorts of things. Please join me. When I finish in Japan, I'm going to England doing a road show. Only under 18s are allowed in, and it's free. So for me, that's a way of saying thank you to all of those fans in England. And it's great to perform for the Japanese too. I was a bit worried that the Japanese audience would be sort of really conservative and disciplined and clap 10 times and put their hands down. Changes that I suggested yesterday. Touring in England was fantastic. The English audiences were great and it was an incredible learning experience for me. At the same time, I've been learning another skill, which is producing, and I find that every bit as challenging in its own way as performing, particularly in Japan where the language barrier makes everything about 10 times more difficult, but also it was great fun. Right, done. Here I am just getting the schedule ready for today. Each day my manager and I sort out what's going to be done at what time and then deliver the schedules to the dancers and everyone else involved. Trying to get everything that needs to be done in the day done in as little time as possible, leaving time for us to relax and get to see some of the sights around Japan. As if travelling weren't enough of a blur, we're about to board Japan's famous bullet train, which should be whizzing us to Osaka at 200 kilometres an hour. Last night's show at Nagoya was incredibly exciting, and now we're ready to take on the rest of Japan, Osaka and the Tokyo Dome. So we're all seasoned travellers by now, but even seasoned travellers get a bit confused from time to time. Everybody's here and more or less in one piece, so let's get this show on the road. Once again, I'm with my #1 travelling companion. No, not my manager, my trusty portable computer. While I was busy working, the boys thought they'd sneak a little nap, but I soon took care of that one. In the spirit of sneakiness, we arranged a little surprise for Paul, who turned about 81, I think, on this trip. Anyway, he was overcome with our generosity.
Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday dear Paul, happy birthday to you.
These guys are my dancers, I'll say my dancers. This is Benno. Say hi, Benno.
Hi.
And this is Richard. And Paul.
Hello.
And Kevin down the back there.
How cool, you know.
And we've worked together quite a few times before. What have we done? Top of the Pops and Royal Variety and Children's Royal Variety and Jim will fix it and
Dancing in the Park.
Wogan.
And
Oh, well, lots of things.
and Hong Kong.
And Hong Kong, Miss Asia Pacific in Hong Kong. And these guys went to Australia for a holiday.
And now
3
we're in
days in
Japan.
Sydney, and it rained. I'm trying to tell them it doesn't always rain in Sydney.
It was snowing, get it? It was snowing.
Hey, it always rains in England.
Kylie, it was snowing.
That as well.
Yeah, okay. We agree on something.
It was snowing in Australia, down under. I guarantee you.
We had some adventures, but we won't go into those.
No. And this is Yo-Yo, who's working on the sound. Busy there with Mickey Mouse ears on. Yo-Yo works at PWL. And PWL, man.
I didn't mean that.
And he's an engineer and he's recorded on a lot of my tracks on albums and things like that.
Yeah. Me and Karen Hewitt.
Karen Hewitt and
Karen
Yo-Yo.
Hewitt's got Karen Hewitt in there. The name in there. I've been playing some. Do you want to hear something? Got to be certain. He wants us to dance as well.
Yeah. What happens if I press these?
Kylie becomes an engineer.
Yeah.
Engineer from
And here, this is like wardrobe city, man. I mean, this is Yvonne. And Yvonne's my PA, would you call? And Yvonne did my hair on The Delinquents, which is a film that I did. And my mum's just running away from the camera because she doesn't want to be seen. She's hiding behind her.
She doesn't have a cigarette, it's okay.
No, so this is my mother. And everyone else in here is like musicians and sort of sound men and props men and that kind of guff. So you'll see them later. This is my favourite. This is my friend that travels with me. Cigarette ashtrays.
Terry, jacket's off, okay? This, or do you want everything on now?
Me doing
Very
a dish
nice,
rehearsal.
Terry.
You can do an undress. What are you doing? You got my tail on. You put my tail.
And I got it on camera. Which way?
Yep. That's it.
Depends if you're left or right. If you're left, you don't have to go.
Oh, I have to keep that one straight.
Yeah.
I can't do that. No.
I got rhythm. You have to keep everything straight. Very straight.
Billy Cobham. Oh, look out.
Yeah, cool.
Bomber woman.
I think I need
Some mean
bongos
technique here.
instead.
That's good. Let's go to triplets happening.
Dancing takes as much rehearsal as singing does. You should push me over. In the studio, we have to do about 3 run-throughs of the complete show. which I find absolutely exhausting because it's mental as well as physical work.
We just carry on doing the same thing we was doing.
But you know what we could do is just the effect of stillness would be really good. The first day we can just all stand there really straight.
Yeah.
And then my jacket can come off. Then
We take our hats off first.
your hat can come off when my jacket comes off. That can all happen at the same time.
Okay. And then the other boys, it looks like you're giving us the command to do exactly what you want. Right. That's it.
Exactly the way it should. What I have achieved, which I'm really glad about, I didn't know if I could do it or not, was to take a step forward with my image and my music, but at the same time I don't want to ignore the audience I already have. If you move too fast for your audience, they're going to say, whoa, what happened? We liked that music. What are you doing, you know? So now I've got, yeah, as you say, audiences.
Why can't we be together? I keep saying, won't you
get the reaction I did get, I was really wiped out. It was great.
What's your name? Kylie Minogue. Kylie Minogue ちゃん。言ってね。Kylie Minogue.
Oh, here we go. Quickly.
Sign.
Shake hand, please. Shake hand.
これ。お願いします。
It's so much for homework. I love Japanese food.
Could you tell me what kind of Japanese food do you like?
I like sashimi. I like tempura. Miso soup.
Can you eat raw fish?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh, this guy. Yeah.
Yes, I know. It's
You not like it?
yeah, no, yeah. I don't eat raw fish.
So I'm going to try to learn to make a sushi roll. You start with something like this, add a bit of this, and roll it up. Rolling is the hard part, so let's see how I go. We have ginger, egg, cucumber, squid, scallops, salmon roe. I've forgotten what they're called, little Adam and Eve leaves. And tuna, sole, bluefin, something like that. Prawns.
Okay, and I'll put these in. This should be first. I should have put this first and then
Then the
this.
rice.
Yeah, you have to roll it.
What happens if it gets stuck on?
You just sort of like this.
Roll
you
it.
have to, like this. You know, and you kind of pushing it. Okay, and push it, and then you put this side inside.
Is that right?
Yeah, you put.
I've got too much in mine.
Oh, okay.
It's a bit
So
full.
So you can try it like this. This, you can push it in.
Oh, I see.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
and roll it.
Still a bit bumpy, mine. Had a bumpy sushi roll. Itchy some shit. Da da da! Sushi roll. What better way to unwind than visit with some of the locals? Japanese koi carp, to be exact, which are worth about £10,000 each in England. Okay, fish. Believe me, these are not your everyday garden variety goldfish. I don't even know if they're hungry or not. Whoop. And for the moment, I'd like to concentrate on being in front of the camera, although I more or less produced the concert show and this video, letting you know what it's all about. Perhaps one day I'd like to get into production, producing movies or film clips, things like that. Don't know about directing. Sometimes I find it difficult to keep my mouth shut. You know, I want to say, maybe you should do it like this, which isn't always practical because you have to know when to speak, but also when to shut up. Can you do this? Go like that. Can you try that? Put your hands. Go. Like that. You do it yourself. Go. 1, 2, 2. 1, 2. Good. Very good. I find being away from home so often, I do get homesick. When I'm home, I spend time with family and friends and go and have coffee down the road and go to the pictures and really normal things which I don't get to do so often. And I think the worst thing is living out of a suitcase, and I've often heard other people say in interviews that being on the road is a case of laundry, which I can understand because you're travelling and your dirty washing piles up.
Get the hair out of the way.
I heard and the camera went click.
Here you are in Melbourne.
That's good. Got to go for the water there, boy. Had to go fishing there for that bag.
Good morning, Richard. Good morning.
Bonjour, maman. Shall we see if we can swim?
Hey. Wait a minute. Let's see now. Take my glasses off first.
Oh, you want to take me over?
We never did give Paul a box for his birthday, did we?
No, mate, you're going.
Down I go.
She's done an impression of Banana Man. She's done an impression of... What else is it?
She's doing Wet Man there.
Remember Banana Man?
Banana Man.
Banana Man on the back in that studio.
This is a new garment modelled by Kylie. I've just spent about, how long? 3/4 of an hour?
Easy.
An hour getting into this, which is absolutely beautiful. Layer upon layer upon layer of garment. And I can only just breathe. Konnichiwa. Genki desu ka? Good. Looks very nice. So why do these have such long sleeves?
Because you're not married.
Because I'm not married. So that means that when I'm married, I have to wear short sleeves?
Like this night.
You look very lovely too.
Thank you very much.
That's good. You think I'm going to run down the concert stage in one of these? All right, get down. It's crowded, it's manic, it's the Ginza, and every tourist in Japan eventually ends up here. Nagoya had about 8,000 people, Tokyo Dome has 40,000, and Osaka has 10,000, 2 nights. So Tokyo Dome is the big one, and I think it will be the best, you know. I think it's like film. When I was doing The Delinquents, I was really worried about the big screen, but it's just bigger and better. In 1957, my mother thought I was a little girl. But that summer I discovered life, rock and roll, and love with a boy named Brownie Hanson. But for my first movie, I wanted to do something that was real. And it's very all-rounded. It's got some light parts in it. It's got its share of tragedy and, you know, drama. It's a really neat all-round emotional film. I play Lola, and She's very young and innocent in the beginning, and she's a romantic. She dreams of being anywhere except in Bundaberg, which is a very small, drab town. And as she grows up, she has to toughen up. I think that's been in her all along, but you know, these qualities are forced to come out because she has to look after herself. And so you see through the movie that she develops and she becomes quite a tough girl by the end of it, but she still retains her sensitive quality. They call Tokyo Dome the Big Egg, and you can see why. I can't believe it's all happening tonight and they haven't even laid the floors yet. They're still building. It feels like absolute chaos here. They're hammering, sawing, putting up rigging and lights and unloading all kinds of huge camera equipment. All these people here, all this activity, it's just like a little city. Anyway, come on, let me show you how big this place really is. This is used as a sports arena a lot of the time, so the ground's pretty squishy. Producing a show like this is a little bit like piecing a mosaic together, coordinating the music, the choreography, costumes, lighting, making sure the stage is set and the sets are built. Uh-oh, they've built more. I've got to walk around. As a producer, I had all of 2 weeks to put this whole show together, and as you can imagine, I was very nervous about doing it for the first time. Pulling it off has given me a tremendous sense of achievement. Now I can understand why people say nothing beats working live, especially in a place like this. So that's it, midway. Taking you to the sound desk. We just had a sound check, and I just want to check how it went, how the lighting outline is going. Terry, my manager, has been talking to the lighting desk. It's quite difficult with the language barrier. So, see how we went.
How many people?
There should be about 40,000 people. This whole area will have people standing so they can dance. It's kind of like a disco party. And up here, I can't imagine what it will be like full of people, but there will be people in this whole area. And I'll be a speck on the stage, so it's lucky I'm wearing glitter, I say. This is the famous soundboard, which is the heart of a live performance, especially in an arena this big. They have to hear us after all.
One, two. 1, 2.
Let's go downstairs.
Yeah, I've had my doubts, my ups and downs on the merry-go-round. They say my head's in the clouds, but I'm keeping one foot on the ground. I know we say love is blind, but it's the best thing that happened to me, and I'm not ashamed for the world to see. If I had to do it all again, I wouldn't change a single thing. There's no questioning in my heart when it comes to our love. I wouldn't change a thing. To do it all again, I wouldn't change a single thing. There's no questioning in my heart when it comes to our love. I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't change. I wouldn't change. To do it all again, I wouldn't change a single thing. There's no questioning in my heart when it comes to our love. I wouldn't change a thing.
Kylie Minogue, she's just great. I've come to see Kylie Minogue and I love her.
You don't remember me, but I remember you. 'Twas not so long ago, you broke my heart in two. And the first one back.
Good on, Kylie.
Yeah, good one, guys.
Sure. You're a legend.
My own lunchtime.
That was good.
I even had time to get my necklace on.
Yay! And the straps on the right side.
We're happy, you're happy, Adrian's happy.
You guys happy?
Everybody's happy.
You guys happy?
Three Stooges we got here.